The Walrus Audio EB-10. Do you need it? Should you want it? Can it replace an overdrive? Let's explore this today. Walrus Audio EB-10. It's an EQ pedal and it's a boost. Now, I've never used EQ before, but I was really intrigued by, well, first off, let's just be honest, the looks of this pedal. Walrus Audio knocked it out of the park. Ultimately, I was interested in what this pedal can do for me. And now I'm going to get to the sound samples here in a minute, but I just kind of wanted to talk about the EB-10. It's a 3-band EQ with plus or minus 12 dB at each of the frequencies and a 10 dB boost. Now you can use it in an on-off format, or you can use it in a 3 preset mode where you can cycle through presets 1, 2, or 3. Now I found myself using the 3 preset mode because I can just cycle through an always on setting and then a couple other. So after getting the EB-10, I messed around with it and I came up with my own theories about it. And then I checked out Mark Johnson's videos on YouTube of the EB-10 and how he uses it in his direct rig. Definitely check out his channel if you're looking for creativity and just beautiful ambient tones. That guy's doing it right. Now the method that he used was calling it like a guitar fixer, which is a really cool approach to the EB-10 because he has like a guitar that the output is not as high as his main guitar, so anytime he switched to that he'd either have to adjust his settings or just deal with the low volume. And with the boost of the EB-10 he could just click on a button and that problem's fixed. Now I definitely took a different approach to the EB-10. The way I used it was in preset 1 having an always on setting, and then the way I tweaked it was my grinders are naturally a little bit of a higher low output pickup. Now this humbucker is described as having like a light gain tube screamer always on. I believe that's from Lambertone's description. Now that's fine, it sounds amazing, but sometimes I just want a little bit more pristine cleans. And the EB-10 allowed me to do that by pulling back the mids, I think about like 3 to 6 dB, the lows 3 dB, and then boosting the highs plus 3 dB. Now to my ears, this brought my Lambertone grinders a lot more into the territory of the Lambertone cremas, which is amazing because now with the press of a button, I have 2 types of pickups that I'm switching between. And here are some sound samples of that. Now for my second preset, I kind of did the opposite. I only have the Benson Preamp as far as overdrive, and I'm trying not to use the internal drives of the HX Stomp. So with the EB-10, instead of pulling back on the mids, I boosted it 3 to 6 dB, depending on how hot I wanted it. I still kept the bass pulled down 3 dB, but then I also boosted the highs the same as the mids. And what this actually achieved was kind of like simulating an overdrive before the Benson Preamp. And instead of reacting with the pickups mainly, it was more so reacting with the Benson Preamp, pushing that into a more overdriven territory, which I found was similar to me just boosting the drive knob on the actual Benson Preamp. So 2 settings on the Benson Preamp without even having to touch the pedal? Yes please. And here's some sound samples of that. Alright, and the third preset that I set up, this was pretty much the same as the second preset, but what I did was switch on that 10 dB boost. So this took kind of the overdriven tone that I was getting from the second preset and just punched it right in front of the Benson Preamp. And now I'm getting a more natural tube-like breakup out of the Benson Preamp before I even touched the HX Stomp. And speaking of the HX Stomp, because of the EB-10, I was able to eliminate the EQ block that I previously had on there. And with only 6 blocks, we all know how valuable they are. Anyways, this is that third sound that I was talking about. Alright guys, so that is me encountering the Walrus Audio EB-10. I definitely think you should try it out. If you're thinking about it, just do it. It's a great tool to have. I did not know that I needed an EQ pedal. No one ever really gets too hyped up about an EQ pedal, but this thing is pretty intuitive, especially with the preset mode. As far as the questions, I showed you the sound samples, so tell me what your answer is. Do you think it can replace the drive? Do you think you should want it? Do you think that you need it? Let me know in the comment section. Alright guys, we'll see you in the next video. Peace.